Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, we've been previewing and airing all this past couple of weeks now for our upcoming series, our documentary on Tekken. So far in the past, we've done documentaries on other fight game classic series like Street Fighter, the Capcom production, and Mortal Kombat, the NetherRealms to production, to especially the Mortal Kombat one, which was a huge success globally. We've now turned our attention to the third installment in the gaming franchise that came out later, after Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. It came out in the 90s roughly. It was Namco's delve into the market. It was Tekken. And it became such an iconic sort of gaming franchise that a feature movie was made in 2010. And one of my guests this evening played one of the leading roles in that 2010 blockbuster movie. She played one of the Williams sisters, the assassins, Anna Williams. Her name is Marian Zapico. Hopefully, Marian, I got the pronunciation of the surname correct, Anna, but
it was perfect, Marian Zapico, yeah?
Yeah. In 2010, Marian, we're roughly 12 years on now. It's almost like you have to sort of pinch yourself and say, where did those sorts of 12 years go, where you were on the set filming and shooting for Tekken? And when you sort of were shooting that Annie Williams character, did you feel it was going to be a one-off standalone type of movie, or were you hoping that a sequel might come in place?
Well, I thought it was going to be something huge, just because, you know, it's Tekken, and to play Anna Williams to me was just like, oh my god, like you believe you're the character. And I really thought, I was hoping more than I thought it was it's hope that we will go and do more of the Tekken series, you know, more. It will bring more to the plate, but you know, we don't know. So,
Marian, I spoke to Anton Kazbov, and I spoke to Darrell Hinson, who played Sergei Dragunov, and Raven, who were in the movie as well. And one thing they told me about the audition process, it was a two-pronged audition process. First of all, you had to be inside the room. You got to show that you could act. And the second part was you had to show your martial skills background to all the three sorts of judges, in terms of your flexibility, in terms of your moves, your kicking, your sort of background. So even if you were a really talented actor, if you weren't up to par in terms of martial arts skills, you were cast aside. And so many actors that got the roles in Tekken, their martial arts background probably was more relevant at the time than their acting sort of background in terms of those sorts of roles.
Absolutely.
And what was the case for you in terms of your talent agent? Did you know what sort of an audition sort of process that you were going into? And if so, what were your specialities in terms of the martial arts?
For us, the girls, it was a little bit different, because the guys were like brilliant. All of them were brilliant martial artists. Like all of them had a background in a different, like, you know, for us, it was more of, at least not to be as good as they are, but at least to be good actresses, and have flexibility, and be willing also to train in terms of rehearsing fights and all that. And of course, Candice, for instance, was a dancer, had been an acrobat and everything, so her flexibility was off the roof. And in my case, I have a training in Taekwondo, so I could also fight, or pretend that I'm fighting. So, but the guys were all like geniuses. I had such an admiration for all of them, and see them because we were training every day, and we were at the gym every day, and to see them in action and rehearsing, and then everything was such a blast. It was amazing.
I suppose, Marian, you mentioned there in terms of the women's sort of fight scenes, and obviously you played a sort of bad character as such in terms of an assassin. So most of your fight sequences, if I remember correctly, would be with Kelly Overton. who played the love interest of Jing. And what was that like in terms of interacting with Kelly? Because Kelly had that sort of acting sort of background, that sort of acting resume coming into sort of Tekken. So was that sort of a new sort of world to her? Did she probably had the advantage on her in terms of that sort of sense? But was she a go-getter from the get-go, which in terms of working and willing to learn that sort of fields and area?
Well, Kelly, I really love her. It's been a long time since I last saw her, but she's an amazing girl. To be honest, in the beginning, when I was called to audition for Tekken, I wanted to. Christy Montero was the role that I auditioned for. Also because it took them a long time to cast Christy Montero. Was, as you said, it was the love interest of Jim. And they even went to South America to find somebody who could be could have a Latin feel and background in fighting and everything. So I auditioned for Christy, but then I was called to play Anna Williams, and it was amazing because my hair was down to my waist and curly, and I had to cut it and transform myself into Anna. So the first time when I met Kelly, I had an instant connection with her. So the three of us, the girls who have scenes against Kelly, the Williams sisters, and we also have a scene with Nina where we are ninjas. We pretend to be ninjas, and that was also super fun to rehearse. We had also two amazing trainers. One was Chuck Norris' son. So we were so pleased to be learning from those masters, that rehearsing and play those scenes. To me, it was unforgettable. It was just one of the best experiences ever, to be able to do that. And it was also hard because we got along so well with the girls, that to be like in fight mode with Christy, with Kelly, was also very challenging, because I was like, but she's lovable, but she's, but I don't know how to explain what an amazing experience everything was.
Marian, in terms of filming in Louisiana, an offset location, in terms of the quiet villages that you were situated and located at the time, it wasn't Los Angeles, it wasn't the hustle and bustle of New York. It was a more intimate sort of feeling in terms of cast and members and that. And did you enjoy that? Did you sort of revel in that in terms of the downtime that you had in cast members when the set sort of closed for today, that you could really get to know each other that bit personally more than the hustle and bustle of an LA or New York or Universal sort of studios in Hollywood, where you're coming and going and there's no interaction between cast once the takes are done?
Yeah, because as you said, when we were shooting, I was living in LA at the time, so I would have done the film in LA, where I would have been just going home after the shoot and really not have a connection with anyone. But in this case, we shot in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it was a small town because they built this Tekken world down there, and of course that gives you the opportunity of hang out with your castmates all the time. Also because we were all far away from home, so we'll watch movies together, go and have dinner together, get to know each other, and have breakfast together, talk about tons of stuff. When we were not always rehearsing at the same time. So when they were practicing a fight, the rest of us will have time off and hang out. But it was, as you said, it was great because all of us were far away from home. So when you're far away from home, you sometimes need to connect with people, and in terms of family, human connection, and that's what makes shooting away from home so special, because you really create an amazing environment, a family.
And Marian, tell us about the premiere now in 2010 when it came out, and obviously that private sort of screening that you probably had at the cast and before the movie sort of came out, and then obviously premiere night and the showbiz and hustle bustle. Were you excited in terms of coming as a Latino sort of actress, coming into this big sort of blockbuster movie and propelled in the big screen, all the glitz and the glamour that came around that at the time? And obviously you were a young actress at the time as well. Obviously you'd done previous work, but in terms of USA and sort of international sort of work, was that a real exciting time for you and family and loved ones? And did your family and loved ones, did you go to the actual screening together in terms of that, or was it more of a cast sort of screening?
It was more of a cast because most of us were not from LA, like not from America, basically. Like my family was back in Spain because although I play well, at the time they told me she was Irish, but Scotland, whatever. I play a foreign girl. I was born in Madrid. Candice, Nina's family was in South Africa. Kelly's is in another state, is not in California. Luke Goss, for example, who's a sweetheart, I really love him. His family was in the UK. So I remember that the first time we saw the movie was at the time the American film market was taking place in Santa Monica, in Los Angeles. So it was a lot of people from everywhere that go and present their movies. And so the atmosphere was amazing. And I remember the after party was unbelievable. I mean, we had so much fun because you also have hostesses, like waitresses and waiters dressed as us, as the characters, which was really, really amazing, because it was like, oh my God, that was my dress. That was the dress I was wearing during the shoot, you know? And of course, they made a lot of dresses. Also, during the shoot, we had a lot of dresses. We had to costume makeup and hair every day. We spent hours on makeup and hair, and we have a lot of the same dresses and wardrobe because, you know, things happen during filming. And but yeah, that party was unbelievable. It was such a good time, a great time. But it was more or less, it was people from the industry more than family and friends. And it was a lot of actors, actresses, all of us that had worked in the production. And it was an amazing party.
And I suppose in terms of that, Marian, in terms of being involved in the Tekken franchise, and obviously it's a big gaming environment, a big gaming game, and every sort of aspect, every sort of angle is sort of scrutinized. But also then when you're revealed as the Anna Williams sort of character, you have all the Tekken fan base that come on board, that sort of follow you, that sort of, you get all amenable. Were you sort of surprised? Were you bombarded with sort of fan mail from Tekken fans and Tekken diehards, and did it take you by surprise?
You know what? If it would have, if the movie would have happened now, I'm sure that it would have been totally different, because back in 2010, Instagram was not where it is right now, and a lot of social media. What happened when Tekken came out is that my start meter on IMDb went off the roof, like even more than very well-known actors. It was just, and I would get messages on Twitter all the time. And you know, I still get a lot of messages nowadays. I have a couple of people that relentlessly through the years have kept on supporting me, on writing me, on admiring everything I post or I do, and from a very polite and respectful way. And I gotta thank, really from the bottom of my heart, those people, because it puts a smile on my face when I see that after 10 years since the movie came out, like people are still remembering the character. And you know, what I also received back at the time was scenes from the movie, edited and with music and everything, like presents. Oh, here, I edited a lot of your scenes. And so I have videos that I haven't even made, the fans made for me. And that to me was overwhelming, because, you know, when you do something that you love and you're excited about what you're doing, and you do it from the bottom of your heart, you don't do it just to become famous or whatever, and you see the audience reaction to your work or what you've done, is priceless. It's really priceless. And you know, I'm sure if it was now, I would have tons, a lot more of followers, and because people look after you and appreciate what you do, and they even know more about the movie, the scenes, your character. Like a fan knows that there are a lot of deleted scenes that are not in the movie that I shot as Anna, and that for some reason the director's cut or whatever, the scenes are not in the movie, scenes where I speak, and they know that, and you wonder, how do they do it? So yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
And Marian, in terms of being on a blockbuster like Tekken, do you always feel that you're open to further opportunities, whether it be voiceover work, more animated series, in terms of that character Anna Williams that came about, or do you always look at it and say to yourself, well, I'm an actress, so it'd have to be an on-screen sort of a role going forward? Or do you feel there's such an attachment to Tekken sort of franchise that if any role came up within the franchise, whether it be a voiceover for a game or an animated series, that you give it serious consideration?
I don't know. I hope so. I mean, I would love that. You know, you know that I got a few messages back at the time from people in Japan. But of course, Japan is on the other side of the world, so it was not easy to fly in the language and everything. But I would love to be considered, because playing those kind of characters, although you can play a lot of characters as an actor or an actress, and that drama or comedy or things that touch you and the audience, but playing a video game character like Anna Williams is a blessing, because you're it, you know, you're it. And so of course I would love to be considered. I don't know if that works that way. Again, I'm sure if it would have happened now, it will be different, because now we sometimes, the producers and TV networks and everything, they look at the number of followers that a person has in order to hire them. Before it was not like that. So things could have been different, and I don't know if I would get considered, but I would love to. Also because, you know, I love martial arts and I love what I do. So.
And I suppose, Marian Zapico, finally, before I let you go, let's pretend there was a Tekken encyclopedia, a dictionary as such, and they put all the fictional characters who were part of the Tekken sort of universe down through the years in that sort of fictional dictionary. And they came down to the character right at the beginning, number A, Anna Williams, and they said, who are we going to call up now to provide a synopsis of this character? We've 2 blank sentences underneath her name. We want someone to write those 2 sentences to describe her in terms of what she was like. And they got onto your talent agent and said, listen, Marian Zapico played the role of Anna Williams. She should write those 2 sentences to describe what type of character Anna Williams was. What would you like those 2 sentences to read?
As Marian, as Anna.
As Anna, if you were looking at, Marian was looking at Anna, and someone asked you, what's Anna Williams like? What type of a person she was? How would you describe her in 2 sentences?
She's full of fire, relentless, ambitious, and on a mission, focused. She's she knows what she wants, and she will do anything to get it.
On that note, she knows what she wants and she'll do anything to get it. And that can be summarized in Marian Zapico's acting career as well. She gets what she puts her mind to in terms of that. Thank you for Marian Zapico for your insights of playing Anna Williams in our Tekken franchise. You will always be synonymized as the first person to play Anya Williams in a big blockbuster movie production. Tekken 2010, it was his first movie. You are the first person to be cast on the big screen as Anya Williams. No one can take that for you. That's an honor that you will always hold, even in 20 or 30 times, when 20 years time, when we're on to the 5th or 6th Tekken movie. That first honor will always be yours. And it's Marian Zapico, Anna Williams, as they call you. Pleasure talking to you today in our Tekken documentary, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Take care.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.